Discord is extremely popular. Whether you're a computer science student not paying attention to class on your gaming laptop that sounds like a jet engine, or you're just trying to avoid Counter-Strike solo queue, or maybe you're just a child predator, you are using Discord as your first choice of chat application. So you'd think that, being the industry leader, the official desktop app would have some care put into its customizability and resource usage, right? Well, okay, it's not that bad. Just recently, backgrounds were added as a Nitro feature, which is fair enough, and Discord isn't really that hard of an app to run, but there could be some improvements. That is why today we will be creating Dorian, a custom Discord client that will support plugins, themes, and should hopefully take up less space and memory. Did I get you with that? Definitely got one person with that. When modifying Discord as a whole, there are two types that we can create. We can A, modify the official client. This requires modifying the app.asr file that Discord comes with, among other things. Or B, we can create our own client from the ground up using the web-based client. This means that we are at the whim of the limitations of the web client, which isn't actually that bad. They are essentially the same. I have chosen to create a client from the ground up because it allows me to have the most control over the parts that I know best. I chose to write the client in the Tari library. Taurus? Whatever. Tari is a WebView library that allows us to use a Rust backend. Fucking finally. If you weren't already aware, Discord officially uses Electron for their desktop applications. Electron is, unfortunately, slow and bloated, as it bundles an entire Chromium binary with every application build. Tari, on the other hand, uses the inbuilt operating system's WebView implementation. This means that on newer versions of Windows 10 and all versions of Windows 11, Tari apps barely bundle anything at all. In order to make use of the web client, we set the target of our Tari app to be the Discord site. Simple as that. If we had stopped right now, we would technically have a fully featured Discord client already. We don't want to stop here though, as there's so much potential for doing some really cool things. For example, we are able to inject JavaScript. This means that we can do basically anything with the Discord client as it runs, such as injecting a settings area that uses Discord's own styling. Using this principle, we are able to block telemetry, switch client types, change the zoom level, and more as well. To use telemetry blocking as an example, here we're just injecting some JavaScript that overwrites the browser's requesting library. All this does is it changes anything that uses the v9 science endpoint, which is Discord's telemetry endpoint, and it blocks any requests to that endpoint. Now that we know that we can inject essentially whatever JavaScript we want, this means we can inject plugins. Plugins are simply JavaScript files that will be read and executed when the client loads. This allows things like adding the ID beside people's names, doing funky animations, or even complex things like injecting plugins like Vencord. So you may be wondering then, how do these work under the hood? I have two injection files, both of which do different things, that are injected no matter what when Dorian launches for the first time. Once these are done, it'll send messages back to the Rust backend, which will ask for things like plugin content and theme content. It will then load this content, and that's how we load plugins. We are also now able to add a section in our settings page that will allow us to enable plugins. This other field, preload, just allows us to ensure that a plugin is loaded as soon as Discord is, instead of a little while after. Plugins like Vencord that require injecting into Discord as it loads require this feature. Since Discord is literally just a website, and yes, that also means that the regular Discord client is just a website in its own window, we are able to inject custom styling into it. Themes are simply CSS files, just like plugins are JavaScript files, and we are able to inject them in the exact same way. The pre-inject JavaScript file will request to get the theme contents from the selected theme in the configuration. Then it'll read the theme and localize all of the URL imports, which essentially means that it makes a request to retrieve the contents of that URL import and then just combines it with everything else. Once it's localized all of them, it will kind of sanitize it a little bit, just in case there's anything bad in there, and then it'll simply apply the theme. There's some really sophisticated and fancy themes out there, and Dorian supports basically all of them. Some of them can break a little bit, though. Here's where we get to one of the crazier parts. The beauty of Rust and Tari is that it allows us to compile our application for distribution for multiple platforms. Our application ends up super tiny through this, apart from the uncompressed HTML and JavaScript we have to include, though we do minify the JavaScript. Let's make a little bit of a comparison while we're here. The installation file for regular Discord is roughly 90 megabytes, while a full install of Discord on my computer took up almost half a gigabyte, 410 megabytes. Of course, your mileage may vary, but I don't recall ever having the Discord application on this installation of Windows before. The installation file for Dorian is roughly 10 megabytes, and a full installation? 13. That is a 97% downsize for essentially more features. As an added bonus, Dorian does not need to use an update utility, and therefore takes no time to open. It will let you know when there is a new version, but those can be installed whenever you want. Now that we're done, you can visit the Dorian website or the GitHub using links found in the description. You are welcome to contribute, submit bugs or feature requests, or donate to the development of Dorian if you'd like.